Hi and welcome to John's Maths Book. In this video, we'll be exploring another key concept in mathematics. If you find this tutorial helpful, then please show your support by subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. Your positive engagement helps me create more content and allows me to bring you more valuable maths lessons. Without further ado, let's go over to the whiteboard. When performing data analysis, there are two types of data we can collect. And they are quantitative data and qualitative data. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the differences between the two types of data and what the types of data are used for. So let's begin with qualitative data. This type of data explains the qualities and attributes of certain things and does not contain numerical information. So, for example, if I'm recording information about dogs, I may want to record the breed, the color of the dog, whether it's a house dog or a working dog, and maybe its favorite food. So this type of data records observations about things that cannot be described numerically. So in another example, when an airline sends you a survey about your flight and asks about the quality of the Wi-Fi, you may be presented with 4 options. This is an example of qualitative data used in a survey. Quantitative data is numerical data, which can be generated by counting or measuring things, and answers questions such as how much and how many. And so, for example, we may be presented with a group of students, and we may want to find out how many are left-handed and how many are right-handed. We do this by counting. So in this case, we have 3 left-handed students and 4 right-handed students. This is an example of quantitative data. In another example, we may have a group of students and we want to know how many are male and how many are female. And again, we can do this by counting. So this is another example of quantitative data. There are 2 types of quantitative data: discrete and continuous. Discrete data can only take specific values. So for example, you may want to count the number of emails you received in a day. You might receive 9 emails, but you'd never receive 6.5 emails. So this data is generated by counting and without a fractional or decimal part. Continuous data is data that we can obtain by measuring. And so this data can contain a fractional or decimal part. So for example, height is continuous data as we measure it, and it can contain a fractional part. So it can be any value. So how do we go about collecting quantitative and qualitative data? Well, quantitative data tends to come from experiments, and qualitative data tends to come from such things as surveys and interviews.